The fact that he was the only person not wearing a dark suit did not go unnoticed. So the White House press secretary pushed back. She said the president looked great and presidential alongside our stunning first lady, who was, as usual, dressed perfectly for the occasion. And she's right about Melania. I don't know about stunning, but she definitely looks stunned. Show them together, because this is the happiest I've ever seen these two together. It's like they're on their second honeymoon or something.
Understand what's going on. I mean, I really, 1 minute you feel like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, now the landslide's going to start. And then there'll be some other weaselly little, sidestep they do or whatever it is. And, this administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face.
Trump thought he was untouchable, invincible even, until Jimmy Kimmel strolled in with a microphone sharp enough to slice through steel, and Jim Carrey appeared like a tornado in human form, spinning chaos everywhere. Suddenly, it's less presidential moment and more late-night roast special gone nuclear. Spoiler alert, Trump doesn't win this one, not even close. This isn't just comedy. It's a full-blown demolition derby for your brain, and the wreckage is far too entertaining to look away from.
President Trump flew to Rome to pay his respects and also to see if he could get a deal on the Pope Mobile to drive around his golf course. For whatever reason, even though the Vatican dress code specifically recommended a dark suit for the service, showed up in his bluest blue suit.
Trump is toast.
I like that one.
Trump is toast. Yeah, man.
And so you just kind of digest the news of the day.
It's an affirmation.
Trump has always loved to play the role of the untouchable. The man strolls around acting like he's carved out of granite, as if nothing could possibly crack his golden exterior. Well, unless it's a subpoena, an indictment, or someone forgetting to compliment his golf swing. But he thrives on the illusion of invincibility. He believes that if he says something loudly enough, if he repeats it long enough, the world has no choice but to buy the product he's selling, himself.
Secretary of Health and Human Sacrifice, RFK Jr., appeared with President Trump at the White House today to unveil his report on chronic disease that warns about the toxins found in ultra-processed foods like fried chicken, fast food burgers and fries, pepperoni pizza, soft drinks, ice cream bars, and so on. And Trump sat right next to him listening to all this. Listen, Trump's favorite food is toxins. His blood type is honey mustard. He's not gonna, I'm glad RFK's working on this. None of it is gonna get done. When Trump finally figures out he's trying to take away his Doritos, mark my words, Bobby is out and Diddy is in. That's right.
If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. And for years, like a late-night infomercial that refuses to end, people tuned in. Some loved the pitch, others threw their remotes at the screen. But then there's a problem. When you live off attention, when your whole empire runs on constant noise, you become the perfect target for comedy. And if you think you can out-talk or out-yell comedians, you're already cooked. Because while Trump operates on the art of spectacle, comedians thrive on stripping spectacle down to absurdity. They're demolition experts armed with nothing but punchlines and facial expressions.
I can't look at it.
I'm glad I ate beforehand.
Oh my God, there's so many nipple-like things and actual nipples.
Yeah. It's pretty accurate. I mean,
no, I was gonna say I love Jim Carrey, but it's not actually accurate because there needs to be like 5 more scoops of ice cream or
and a Diet Coke.
Right, exactly.
Ooh.
And some fried food of some sort.
So is he gonna eat the ice cream with the scooper too? That's what's weird.
I don't know. It feels like he's really enjoying the feel of his nip.
Yeah. I think that's the source of where his.
And that is exactly where Jimmy Kimmel attacked. Kimmel isn't the kind of comedian who throws pies in faces. He's more like the guy at a dinner party who politely smiles while surgically filleting your ego in front of the entire table. He has this gift of presenting mockery with the tone of casual observation. And when he set his sights on Trump, it wasn't just a couple of harmless jabs. It was open-heart comedy surgery performed in prime time.
This is the happiest I've ever seen these two together. It's like they're on their honeymoon or something. And then the president either went deep in prayer or deep asleep, I don't know. Meanwhile, our former president, Joe Biden, was there, too, and he was chatting people up like he was a greeter at Walmart. He was all over everything. Trump and Biden did not cross paths at the funeral, and Trump did not give Biden a ride on Air Force One. As is tradition, when presidents attend the same event, they often travel together, not these two. Biden was like, you know what, I'll get on a Spirit Airlines over there.
What makes Kimmel's style devastating against someone like Trump is the contrast. Trump prides himself on big, loud bravado, but Kimmel undercuts it with understated irony. Where Trump tries to dominate, Kimmel shrinks him down to the size of a tacky reality show contestant who accidentally wandered onto a debate stage. And it hits hard because Kimmel's not inventing anything. He's reframing what's already there. Every smirk, every joke that lands, chips away at his carefully constructed facade. For someone who wants to be seen as the heavyweight champion of the world, there's nothing more humiliating than being treated like the clown in the cheap seats. And Kimmel has mastered that art, turning Trump's self-seriousness into self-sabotage.
He criticized capitalism without a conscience. And that's what we have now. We have capitalism without a conscience. He showed the common man being fed through gears of the brutal, dehumanizing industrial age. He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today.
But here's the twist. If Kimmel is the surgeon, Jim Carrey is the hurricane. If Kimmel is the scalpel, Carrey is the chainsaw revving in the middle of the night. You see, Carrey doesn't just mock Trump. He transforms him into a cartoon character so ridiculous that the idea of him being a serious leader feels like the setup to a bad joke. Carrey's weapon isn't just words, it's his entire body. The way he bends, twists, contorts, and exaggerates transforms Trump from a person into a slapstick spectacle. Trump filtered through Carrey's manic performance, it becomes nearly impossible to look at the real Trump without seeing the cartoon version. It's permanent damage. And Carrey doesn't pull his punches. He leans into exaggeration with reckless joy. If Trump brags, Carrey amplifies it into megalomania so cartoonish it could belong in a Looney Tunes reel. If Trump pouts, Carrey turns it into a full-blown toddler tantrum, complete with flailing arms and shrieking nonsense.
Donald Trump was sadly not invited to the conclave. He's got other things to work on, including something that he promises will be very bigly indeed.
We're going to have a very, very big announcement to make, like as big as it gets, and I won't tell you on what, but it's going to, and it's very positive. I'd tell you if it was negative or positive. I can't keep that out. It is really, really positive. And that announcement will be made either Thursday or Friday or Monday before we leave. But it'll be one of the most important announcements that have been made in many years about a certain subject, very important subject.
What could this be? Do you think he's announcing his weight, his actual weight?
The sheer physicality of it is overwhelming, and the audience howls not just because it's funny, but because it feels accurate. Trump is always teetering on the edge of parody anyway. Carrey just pushes him straight into it and lets him roll down the hill. Together, Kimmel and Carrey create a tag team roast of epic proportions. Kimmel handles the sharp-edged mockery, the kind that dissects Trump's inflated ego with surgical precision. Carrey storms in with the chaos, turning Trump into a living cartoon disaster. The result? Trump looks less like a political powerhouse and more like the world's biggest punchline being passed around between comedians. Because jokes don't fade as quickly as news cycles, they stick. That's why this roast matters. Kimmel and Carrey weren't just having fun at Trump's expense, they were reminding everyone that comedy is a weapon more devastating than any political slogan. Trump might want to frame himself as the strongest, smartest, most unbeatable figure alive, but Kimmel's sarcasm and Carrey's cartoon madness shatter that illusion in front of millions.
Not who you are. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean you're different. It doesn't mean, the trouble with what's happening right now is these really negative forces like the Steve Bannons of the world are convincing us that we're separate, that we're not the same country, that there's two countries. There's not two countries. I can break bread with anybody in this country. I love people in this country. I love the heartland of this country. It has nothing to do with that.
And the more Trump tries to fight it, the more foolish he looks. Comedy works like a mirror. It forces people to see the ridiculousness of what's already there. With Trump, there's no shortage of material. His constant bragging, his obsession with image, his inability to laugh at himself, all of it makes him ripe for destruction. And in the hands of two masters like Kimmel and Carrey, that destruction is not just inevitable, it's spectacular. So what happens when sarcasm meets pure chaos? You get Trump turned into the punchline of a comedy apocalypse. One moment he's trying to project strength, the next he's reduced to a Saturday morning cartoon character desperately waving his arms while the audience roars with laughter. And once that image takes hold, there's no undoing it. He's pulling Trump's ego out of a balloon and letting it squeal as the air escapes. What makes Kimmel so lethal is that he doesn't need to invent wild scenarios or conspiracy theories. Trump provides enough material just by existing. Kimmel simply takes what Trump says or does and reframes it so the absurdity shines through.
This is some report. His active lifestyle continues to contribute significantly to his well-being. He stays fit thanks to frequent victories in golf events. Jordan Love is 6'4", 219 pounds. Honestly, it's difficult to tell them apart. This one's even better. This is Baltimore Ravens linebacker Kyle Van Noy, 6'3", 255 pounds. I don't know. Maybe they just weighed Trump's head?
Kimmel has mastered the art of understatement. Trump may thunder into the room declaring himself the greatest gift to humanity since sliced bread, and Kimmel responds by treating him as if he's a guy who just bragged about being Employee of the Month at a gas station. That contrast is devastating. It punctures Trump's hot air balloon with a single glance, and the laughter that follows is the sound of his ego deflating in real time. But the genius of Kimmel's roast style is that he doesn't scream or wave his arms. He delivers with a calm, almost conversational tone, like he's telling you about the weather while casually obliterating Trump's self-image. Because laughter spreads. Laughter is viral. The moment people are giggling at his expense, he's lost the room. And Kimmel knows it. Every smirk, every sarcastic one-liner, every ironic jab is designed not just to land with the live audience, but to echo across social media until Trump's brand is reduced to a meme.
What do you want to accomplish with it?
I just want to express it in a positive way. I want to turn everything painful into art.
And you react to the pipe bombs. Are you afraid personally ever?
Apparently I was threatened on Twitter, so I don't know. I didn't see the thing. I heard there was some severed goat head and I'll see you soon kind of thing. But, you got to speak, man. This is not a time to clam up, and not a time to get frightened. You have to do what you have to do. This is dire at this point.
Now, if Kimmel is the surgeon carving away Trump's pretensions with careful precision, Jim Carrey is the opposite. He doesn't bother with scalpels. He walks in with a wrecking ball, kicks the door off its hinges, and turns the entire stage into a cartoon battlefield. Trump doesn't just get mocked, he gets annihilated in surround sound. Carrey's comedy has always been rooted in exaggeration. His facial expressions alone can communicate more chaos than 100 debates combined. And when he takes aim at Trump, it's like unleashing a human cartoon tornado directly onto Trump's carefully polished image. Picture Trump's signature pout, the lips pushed forward, the exaggerated frown, the smug tilt of the head. Carrey thrives on pushing the absurd to its breaking point. If Trump struts, Carrey struts harder, hips swinging, chest puffed out like a cartoon rooster auditioning for a Broadway musical. If Trump brags, Carrey transforms it into a delusional monologue that sounds like it belongs in a loony asylum. If Trump pauses dramatically for applause, Carrey fills the silence with clownish gestures, as if even the crickets got bored and left the room.
After his physical, Trump gave his own medical update to reporters on Air Force One.
Did they give you any suggestions or advice of anything you need to change up?
A little bit, but overall, I think I felt I was in very good shape. Good heart, a good soul, very good soul.
Right, very, very good soul. How do they measure that? I assume rectally?
It's chaos, but it's strategic chaos. Because while Kimmel chips away at Trump's ego with irony, Carrey steamrolls the entire structure with slapstick carnage. The two approaches couldn't be more different, but that's what makes the 1-2 punch so devastating. Kimmel makes you see Trump as smaller than he wants to be. Carrey makes you see him as too ridiculous to be taken seriously at all. And the best part? Trump can't fight this. He can't argue with a parody. He can't counterattack a caricature. He thrives on being treated as larger than life, but once he's reduced to a cartoon version of himself, he loses control of the narrative completely. You can't campaign against a clown nose. You can't argue your way out of slapstick. Comedy, in this case, is a trap Trump built for himself. Together, Kimmel and Carrey don't just roast Trump, they dismantle him on 2 levels. Kimmel appeals to the rational part of the brain, showing you the irony and hypocrisy in Trump's persona. Carrey bypasses logic altogether, slamming straight into your funny bone until you can't take Trump seriously, even if you try.
We are parentless, you know, and we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous thing about what's going on right now. There are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That this
kids say fake news.
That you're supposed to hate half the country. You know, and if anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that a vote is not who you are. You know, and because you voted Republican, you're not stupid, you're not different, you're not worthless. You know, I could break bread with anybody who voted for Trump.
It's comedy demolition at its finest. One man using wit, the other using chaos, both leaving Trump looking like the after picture in a before and after ad for ego destruction. And here's the kicker. Trump built his empire on spectacle. He's a showman. He thrives on ratings, on applause, on people talking about him. But comedy flips that script. When people are laughing at him instead of with him, the spectacle becomes humiliation. Suddenly, the man who claims to be the strongest, smartest, most unstoppable figure alive is just another punchline in a late-night monologue. That's why this takedown matters.